Well, Kobe, if Sunday's win put a spotlight on your offense, tonight was all about the defense. What did your young group prove?
Yeah, we can go out and play with anybody. It's about us not beating ourselves. And everything that happened tonight, that's us playing our brand of ball. That's us not kicking ourselves in the foot. And at the end of the day, that's the type of team that we are. So last week showed the offense can put up. They got firepower. This week showed we could. Just imagine when we put it all the way together, man. We're going to be a team force that can be reckoned with. And I'm just so excited, so proud of these young guys. I give it everything is because of the team and how we're working together, the energy that we brought. Coach said that this week is going to come down to effort and energy, and we brought it to them.
Yeah, shout out to Kobe Turner and the Los Angeles Rams defense. They do deserve credit for their effort on Thursday night, a game that will be kind of forgotten immediately, unless like you're like a Cooper Kupp fantasy owner, for instance. You're going to forget this one immediately. But don't forget that the Rams did shut down the 49ers offense in a huge spot. And as a result, it's a 12-6, come on, victory for the road team over San Francisco. And the defending NFC champions are very much now on life support with 4 weeks to play. Dan Hanzus here with Marc Sessler, the Quiet Storm. And Mark, no touchdowns in this game. The score looks like it tells the picture, tells the story of an ugly game, and it certainly was. There's no way around it.
Well, it was, and like it's on brand for me too. I think I texted you guys like end of third quarter. It's like one of my favorite games of the year. But not to the average viewer. And like if you
you weren't joking when you said that?
No, number one, I kind of like games that are just atypical like this. I think you're right that fantasy heads are extremely annoyed this evening. But you're not annoyed if you're Sean McVay because you come off an incredible win over the Bills. And then tonight you beat what I think is your number one rival. And I leave the game. Some games just don't have a lot of storylines. But for me, I leave this game concerned about the overall idea of what the Niners want to be and think they'll be. It's not just this season goes away, they all get healthy, and they're back next year the same way. We'll see. But Brock Purdy, I want to take a look at the splits in cold weather. I think this is a player that has had problems in cold weather games over and over. Like Deebo Samuel, tonight was your night to be the star for the Niners, and you completely failed. It's not the defense, it's the offense. It was Shanahan's offense tonight that couldn't get it done.
I thought, yes. I mean, I like weird games too, but I didn't think this was, and even fantasy side, take that out of it. I just didn't think it was a pleasing game. And maybe it's because we've gotten a little bit spoiled this year because the primetime games have been, by and large, so much better than in past years. But you just kept waiting for the game to kind of kick into gear, and it never did. And on the San Francisco side, you kept on waiting for them to kick into gear this season, and they just never could do it. And now here they are staring down at possible elimination. I should say that I said 4 weeks left. They now have 3 games to go, and it's a terrible loss for them. This is a game that they absolutely had to have, and it came down to me 2 plays that stick out to me. One is it's a 3-3 game in the third quarter. It's 3rd and 10 from the Rams' 29-yard line, and here's Brock Purdy, who had, yes, a bad game, and we should talk about Brock before we get out of here and about his future. He made many bad passes in this game, but in this moment, he hits Deebo Samuel in stride at about the 23-yard line, and then you had Pierce coming up to seal off the safety when you watch the replay. It's a wrap. That's Deebo Samuel to the house. He's scored 100 touchdowns like that in his career, but in this case, it clanks off Deebo's hands, incomplete. They're forced to settle for a field goal, and it's 6-3 instead of 10-3. That could unlock the whole game. I mean, scoring a touchdown there could have been exactly, obviously, what the Niners needed to wake up, but instead it kind of further stuck them into the muck, and you heard the boos come down because Deebo Samuel had been outspoken on social media going into this game about how, you got to get me the ball. I'm not going to let, I'm not the problem. They got to give me the ball. Deebo, you got to make a play. And this team has been waiting all season for Deebo Samuel to make plays because they've needed him more than they ever have, and he has come up absolutely flat. He has stunk this year, Deebo Samuel. And that play, when they missed the playoffs, remember that play. The other one is all on Brock Purdy. 2nd and 10 at the Rams 33-yard line. Now we're midway through the fourth quarter. It's a 9-6 game. You're in field goal range. I know obviously it's a rainy night and just not a great weather night, but in the NFL at the 33 is field goal range, and Brock goes for a downfield shot and he overshoots Juwan Jennings badly, and Darius Williams comes down with an easy interception. And when San Francisco's defense couldn't get off the field in the ensuing drive, the game was over. So you have, in a game where you needed your big dogs to step up, when Trent Williams is in street clothes and Amazon doesn't even know who Trent Williams is, and you have obviously Christian McCaffrey out. Yeah, this
was a problem.
Come on, Amazon.
This was a problem. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, well, let me land this plane. But
you
got Trent Williams out, and you got CMC up in a suite, and everything is on the line. You need Brock Purdy, who's supposed to get a huge contract after the season, and Deebo Samuel, one of the highest paid wide receivers in football, to be the type of guys that carry you, and instead they let you down, and as a result, they're probably cooked.
Well, right, and in reverse, a play that I thought was not even just the huge shot to Puka Nacua, who's been sensational the last couple of weeks, was that incredible inside the 2-minute warning, the game-changing pass to Colby Parkinson by Matthew Stafford, who, Matthew Stafford, no one thrived tonight, but he's not turning the ball over. He's been money in the bank, and they found a way, and I think that it was a very much like a Sean McVay third into fourth quarter game tonight. And I get that, with the weather, that no one was really sensational at all, but the Rams have weeks in a row made big plays, and I'm starting to just believe in them a little bit more. But if we can talk about the Trent Williams, so if you're these announcers, you go into the complex, and you've done
it's not the announcers.
Well, it's not just it's everyone.
It's the truck.
It's everyone. But but also no. But he called out that was him, and it's you've spent multiple minutes and time and hours interviewing Trent Williams and spending time with him. So this to me feels like a high-level television gaffe, and I mean it shouldn't really be happening, but it's funny on some level. But
get him, Sess.
Huh?
Get him, Sess.
I don't need to get them. That's not where I'm going, but it's just kind of hilarious to me that this even would happen, because that looks literally nothing like Trent Williams.
What it made me
at
think?
All.
It more made me think as I was watching, is man, everybody's having a rough night. The Rams are having a rough night on offense. The Niners are having a rough night. The fans are struggling in the rain, and the truck, they're getting wrong. They don't know who Trent Williams is, and it's just if I were in that truck,
I would just start. I'd get in the driver's seat and just tear out of there at about 40 miles an hour.
Do they have the wheels and the steering wheel and everything? Can you actually drive that thing away? Is that how it works?
Well, what else is it? What do they do? Are they
I think it
out
gets
by helicopter?
I don't know. I think, Justin, maybe the truck, when they say the truck, doesn't that thing have to be rigged up to be pulled out, or can you actually steal the truck? Because that would be kind of a cool vigilante
steal.
thing.
I mean, if you hooked it up to a tow hitch on the front part, you could probably steal it that way. It might be time consuming and you'd probably get caught. But no, the actual trucks are just trailer things.
Okay.
You probably can't drive them away now.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Very good.
Well, that was very official.
Very official. Yeah. So, those that really stood out to me. And I think we did our silly little Super Bowl draft, and I thought, the Niners were worth a roll
silly
of the dice.
And little.
It certainly was.
Okay.
And I did. I felt really confident, and I wish this didn't turn into a weather game. And I think your point about Brock Purdy is fair. And I really wonder about, is he a dog when it's raining or it's cold or it's windy? Is Brock Purdy one of those guys where if everything is lined up right, he can shred? If he's got the right guys around him and the weather's good and the game script works, he can absolutely. And it's the same criticism that's been around Purdy forever. But these things become magnified more in these circumstances. One, it's been a down season where you've needed more from him, and he hasn't quite been able to do it. And when he has potentially a massive contract decision coming up. And I continue to wonder now, with this game being the latest, thing to galvanize this conversation point, which is when Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and the rest of the Niners leadership sit down after the season, like, what do they think of games like this? And what does this mean going forward for the Niners? Are we really going to make this guy a top 5 paid player in the league? Because that's going to create so many other challenges for us. Or do they challenge themselves to find somebody where they could restart a rookie contract clock and go at it from that angle? It's such a massive decision, and in a lot of ways, like, the future of the San Francisco 49ers as a contender and a top dog really depend on it.
But I think you're right. And like I've always liked the idea of Brock Purdy and like the story of like you don't have to go draft someone in the first round or blow your franchise up cap-wise to get a veteran. And they went and seemed to circumvent all that, even after they made a terrible decision with Trey Lance. Like we never talk about that. They were completely Teflon off of that decision. But then now it's like you do need to pay him now. And it is, I would say you take a quality guy, like you take some sort of scout and put it, like, what does he do in this kind of weather? Because there was a game last year in Cleveland where Purdy collapsed in bad weather. It was rainy, and he was destroyed. They also, I think, were missing Trent Williams in that game too. And I think but also you can't be a quarterback that if you're missing offensive linemen, everything changes around you. And like my thing about this is weather, but it's also like, is Brock Purdy someone that if you're going to go pay like a top 10, top 5 quarterback, like, is he someone alone, isolated, that lifts the entire team? I think he fits very well into this offense, and there's no question about that. Like, he's been successful, but like when like you hit adversity, when you hit weather, when you hit elements that don't fit him, you get this. And
I have
this whole offense, you get this.
It's actually the first time I've heard you speak with any level of doubt around Purdy. Have you begun to kind of shift because you've been a Purdy supporter, and you're well within your right to kind of shift your opinion. Like, we should do that, and not feel like we need to dig in our heels all the time. Like, you have from what we've seen this year, that's changed a little bit on your front.
Yes. Yeah, I think I have, but I think it's a little bit, it goes beyond that a little bit. This is a weird analogy, but I think people that fall into the Shanahan world, and I'm one of those people where you just praise Shanahan no matter what. Like, I knew a girl that went to college, but then she got like 3 doctorate degrees, and she was like 36 years old and still in college. And I only make the reference because it was like, no matter what, she was like, we can't really critique her because she's smart and she's doing something that I don't want to do, but she's not really out on the street as part of the real world. And I think, and where I'm coming from a little bit is just to say,
where are you coming from?
With Shanahan, it's like no matter what he does, I look at him and just say, I know he's a genius. And so there's not really any accountability for like the week to week. This has been a bad season for Kyle Shanahan because yes, there's been injuries, but you've got your quarterback. You had Christian McCaffrey for a certain amount of time. Like, you have all your players, and this offense is ineffective. It's the offense's fault that they fell asleep tonight, that this team is no longer a viable option in the NFC. This has been a terrible season.
in the streets.
It's been a terrible season.
Yes, it has been. Mark on the streets, Andrew Avila adds. Yes, Gravy.
We have a very special person in our live chat here commenting to you, Dan.
Okay. Oh.
It's...
Is that Ricky Hollywood in the chat?
It's Ricky Hollywood.
Look how cute she looks in that photo. What a great shot. It's shot from above. It's a really flattering angle. I really enjoy it. Ricky's World. Bring on the Jets. Yes, Jets, Rams next week. Bring it on, Danny. Yes, let's see. Let's look at the rest of this Rams schedule.
Why does she comment only to you and not like, I mean,
she's privately told me that she doesn't think very much of you. So that will probably explain it.
Why am I here?
At Jets, home Cardinals, home Seahawks. So not home free, but that division is there for the taking. Let's see. Let's take a look at the NFC West with Money Mike Dugar's Seattle Seahawks at 8-5. And now the Rams riding a 3-game winning streak. Got to give a lot of credit to the Rams. You got to give a lot of credit to them. They started 0-3 right this season, and they got off the mat, or they lost. Sorry, they started 1-4 this season and looked like they were dead in the water. So to get back to 8-6, he's Sean McVay, man. Like what he's able to do with how that defense has grown up, and Kobe Turner is a major part of it. But their ability to win this game and stifle San Francisco, bad weather or not, shows you, like even what Turner said, like I struggle to really buy in on the Rams as a Super Bowl contender or anything like that, but it is interesting to see them do the 40 burger against Buffalo and then essentially end the Rams season and get their first sweep of the Rams of the Niners since 2018. Yeah.
And we root for teams that find a way to be not interesting and like slightly annoying. Like the Rams are the opposite. Like the Rams are like, we understand they're not a top 5 team, but it's like, look what's happened in the last week. If you're a Rams fan, like you're back in, like you're
right.
Like they take you on a journey, and that's, as a sports fan, that's all I really could ask for. I mean,
if you can get Stafford on a night where Stafford goes 16 of 27 for 160 yards, no touchdowns, Kupp shutout, and you win, yes, you're doing something right. Before we sign off, because listen, we're going to give this game, about as much love as the game gave us, which was not much. So let's check in on the chat with Justin Graver.
A reticent lover.
Here's a great one. We got to address this one.
Yeah. It's from Heed the Call with Dan Hanzus and Marc Sessler.
Wait,
remember when Gravedigger was the
tweeted
only
to
one to
yourself.
pick the Rams on the midweek show?
This is Gravedigger tweeting about himself.
You little tricky dicky.
This is not a tweet, Mark. It's a YouTube chat.
Well, I mean, just in general, like this is the element of ridiculous chicanery that Dan and I deal with.
Yes, can we hear from an actual viewer now?
Yeah.
Thank you, though, Justin. Congratulations on your fearless pick. Cupcake.
Thanks.
Everyone had this as a high-scoring game, and Dan picked the 49ers as Super Bowl contenders. I took the 49ers as a, third pick. Hey, who knows? Maybe they get hot. But I thought they were going to play better in this game. I thought they would win and it shouldn't be just because it was raining. It's not an excuse. The 49ers had to show up tonight, and they didn't. And Niners fans obviously are rightfully pissed off. What else?
Here's a question for Dan.
He's kicking in. When Dan, we're at this stage. Okay, it looks like we're wrapping up. When Dan has a Tito's, is it just Tito's? We do a little twist or tonic. I do it what I call Tito's soda. I used to do it with lemon, and so that's a club soda. A 5-second pour, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the spout, not a pure, not the pure bottle. So, and then you with the little soda, you cut it, and then now because Jay Gruden taught me this, a squeeze of orange. Okay, so there you go. All right.
Oh, so you're buying? Can I ask? Well, just because I get you're buying oranges out of pocket from like a grocery and.
No, if I go to a bar, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, but one more. Very glub. I need a show of Mark interviewing random people on the streets and sharing his heartfelt monologues with them. I would watch that.
Well, I'd get mugged and probably worse things would happen.
All right, good. Are you, by the way, playing on Underdog yet? There's so many ways to get in on the action, whether it's higher or lower pick'em entries, daily drafts, or season-long tournaments. Download the Underdog app, sign up with the code HTC, and you could receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit for our U.S. audience only. All right. Gravy, how you feeling, by the way? I see someone's
good.
wondering if you are, quote, blasted.
Yeah, this tweet made me like.
Yeah,
Graver
this
is
one did not
blasted.
get elevated.
Someone said with authority. With authority, they said it, so it could be Jessica.
I buy into this, by the way. Jamaica says Deebo has never been the same since he changed his number. Yeah, don't mess with it. Number 19, he was a bad man. Number, what is he, 1 now? He ain't that
How we
bad.
feeling tonight, Santa Clara?
All right.
Great.
That's it.
I'm going to get my
for this
sack
game.
back.
Yeah. And to top it off, I guess the third play is you get to midfield, right? You get the horse collar, and you should have 2 shots to maybe steal this game as the Niners. And you throw a duck incomplete, and then you take a sack.
I'm going to get my sack back.
Oh, man. What a night for the Niners. And it is a reminder to never, ever, and I might be writing like the eulogy for the Niners for this season, but they could be back next year. But you don't know. And that's why you never, ever assume you're going to get back. And when you're in the Super Bowl, you got to close. And Shanahan has had multiple chances with different quarterbacks, and he's never been able to close.
Ever. Okay, ever.
And that's a bummer if you're a Niners fan.
It is. It's depressing.
But from a Jets and a Browns and a Titans fan, it's like, how much sympathy can one have?
A limited amount. Like there is an end to it, yes.
Better luck next year. And for the Rams and their fans, yes, they are alive and well in the NFC playoff picture, and we'll see if they're able to close this thing out or even steal the division. A little Michael Sean Dugar versus Jordan Rodriguez. I love that. All right, thank you to everybody in the live stream. Thank you to Ricky Hollywood. If that was indeed Ricky Hollywood, we don't have that for sure.
I'll see if I thank her. I'm not thrilled with how that went.
Yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah.
You got to work your interpersonal stuff out. Till next time, do what you must. Heed the call.